The problem was when I first did
Hi, my name's Cassidy Robertson, and here's my audience.
Hello.
Alright. So, by a show of hands, how many of us here have children? All of us, just about all of us, yeah. Well, have you by chance heard about the violence in our schools and decreased academic scores on the news?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Well, who believes that their child's safety and their education is the most important things in their life? Definitely. Yeah. So I know as a mother and as a parent, well, two parents, that their safety and their educational future is very imperative. And according to Teachers Count .org, school uniforms improve academic performance because they create an equal and orderly atmosphere. School uniforms prevent the formation of cliques or gangs and reduce the influence of peer pressure, all based on the physical appearance of students. So I realize that not everyone here has probably had any experience with maybe wearing a uniform themselves or even having a child wear a uniform. Has anybody had their children? You guys have? I've seen, a close friend of mine's child go through a school that went from uniforms, not uniforms, to wearing uniforms, and the dramatic change that happened at that school. So this evening, I hope to persuade each of you that school uniforms can reduce bullying and violence in the schools and also increase academic performance. So first, I'll tell you about how it can improve academics. And then I'm going to tell you about how it can reduce violence and bullying in the schools. And finally, I'm going to tell you about the substantial cost savings that you can get by choosing to use uniforms instead of casual clothes. So first, I'm going to tell you how it can improve academics. And when schools implemented in this area uniform policies in 2009, actually in 21 states, they observed that students actually displayed an increased focus on their studies because they weren't so concentrated on what everybody else is wearing or what they had on that day in comparison to what they had. So uniforms also promote a sense of professionalism. So it encourages students to pay more attention to the fact that they're at school to learn. They're not at school to hang out and socialize. It keeps them, not only keeps them focused on their studies, but it gives them a good sense of citizenship. So, isn't your child's future as an educated young adult, an important thing? Just,
Absolutely.
Definitely. And to me, it's enough reason for me to choose uniforms over casual wear. So after all, we know as adults, I know we all know as adults going to school with children how hard it is. We know how important it is that our children have successful futures. So for many of us, the benefit of stronger academics is enough proof that uniforms are the way to go. So if some of you still need proof, though, I'm going to go ahead and tell you about some of the safety benefits of wearing school uniforms. It's a fact, it was found that the implementation of school uniform policies, the overall crime rate in some schools dropped by 91%. That's a huge number. Nothing to blink an eye at. Children were less prone to suspension, and actually suspensions themselves dropped by 90%. Uniforms encourage a safe environment by preventing gangs or affiliated clothing. Assaults on children, and this really surprised me, from the ages of kindergarten up to 8th grade. Imagine your child in kindergarten being assaulted. 85% reduction in assaults in children. Uniforms make it easier to identify people coming in the school. So it's easy to identify intruders. they don't belong there. Also, if they're going on field trips, they're all in the same clothes. You can pick them out a lot quicker. So from a school right here in Norfolk that introduced uniforms, here's what the school had to say. Leaving class without permission is down 47%. Throwing objects, which is funny to me, is down 68%. Fighting has decreased by 38%. And the staff themselves attributed this to the uniform policies. So if someone told you that you could send your child somewhere that you knew that they would be safe, that they'd be less likely to be bullied, peer pressured, or experience any kind of violence, would you choose that school?
Definitely.
Exactly. So I think we would all feel better knowing that we're sending our child or our children to a safe learning environment. And you can see with the educational benefits as well as the safety improvements that comes with wearing uniforms, there's really not too many, doubt in my mind anyways, what I would like to do. And a lot of the push for uniforms lately has actually come from parent groups themselves. They want more discipline for their children in the school system. So, but if you need more convincing, let's talk about money. I know everybody here is tight in money. There's nobody by far that can say everything's great in the world with that. So, one thing about uniforms is they're cheaper, by far. As noted on articlebase.com, school uniforms are a bargain. They're becoming far less expensive than other clothes and more durable. They last longer. You can trade them, so hand-me-downs, get with friends that have the school uniforms because they are durable. You're able to trade off. So if you had a chance between less durable, expensive designer clothes and cheaper, more durable uniforms, would you pick the uniforms cheaper? Maybe. So now that you understand the potential cost savings that you can get out of wearing uniforms, I hope you can see why I think they're the way to go. And in conclusion, besides the amazing benefits for our children's safety and as well as their educational academics, our children deserve the best chance they can for a good start in their future. And thank you for listening.